Okay, welcome everybody. Got another repair just come in, another iPhone 11. Screen's pretty battered up and the corners of the screen are smashed as well. The back's very scratched, but it looks alright, so yeah, just another LCD repair. So we're going to start off with removing the bottom screws. As usual, push into the screws. We don't actually just twist them lightly because we don't want to cross thread the ventilator. Go in at the bottom with the metal spudger, give it a wiggle, then lightly round, hold the spudger still and move the phone around. Use the spudger as the tool and use the phone as the thing that needs work, like that. Okay, next thing is we need to get these edges off, so we push the one side first to get the one side off like that, then we push it the other way to get the other side off. Break that little bit of sticky off. There we go, and the phone is now open. Okay, now we need the little triple screwdriver, one of those. You can see that, three-sided. First of all, we're going to take off the battery cover and put the screws exactly where they went on the mat. Use the tweezers to get the battery cover out, put that alongside the screws, and then remove the battery connector with the end of your fingernail. It's not too difficult. Okay, battery connector removed. Now we can work on this part of the phone by removing the cover for the LCD cable, so we'll do that now. Again, putting the screws exactly where they go onto the mat. Make sure you support the screen as well. Don't let it fold back because that could tear the LCD cables, which means we can't read the codes. Okay, and as per usual, with removing the ribbon cables, we want to go with the corners. Don't get your fingernails in there. Don't try and go this way because there's capacitors underneath the connectors. Always go with the corner. Get a tiny flat-headed screwdriver, lightly just flick the corner up. There we go. And this one as well, just flick the corner up like that. Now this one hasn't got any capacitors or anything above it, so I always just like to get my fingernail there and then just pull it off like that. Okay, and that's that screen off the phone. Now that the screen is off the phone, we can remove the this earpiece section. So the top left screw, remove that one first, is the triple screw. The others are all posi drive, so we'll get a number one, is it? Number one posi drive. There we go. Again, putting them all in order as they came off the phone. Okay, and this one looks like it hasn't been repaired before because usually technicians don't replace this little bit of metal. But we're going to keep that because we're going to do a proper job and we're going to replace the metal onto the new screen. Next thing is we're going to go remove the microphone from this the housing for the face camera. So what we'll do, we get underneath the ribbon cable very delicately, underneath the microphone cable, and we'll just rock it from side to side until the microphone is released like that. Then the next thing is we're going to release this proximity sensor, and we're just going to rock it a little bit until it's loose. It's loose now, so that's all good. And we're just going to lever the other one out very slightly. We don't want to tear any cables. There we go, nicely done. And we'll rock the microphone off to get rid of the sticky, bit of sticky on the proximity. Job's a good one, it is off perfectly. Okay, so we'll put that to the side where the screws are, so we know that it goes with that. Then we need to get the JCID programmer, and we need to get the right PCB on there for it. And we need this one for the 11 touch. Wait for the kernel to start up. There we go, it's ready for a screen to be connected now. Whether you can see that. Possibly. There you go. It's blank screen right now. So now let's connect the touch connector to the JCID programmer. There we go. And it reads the codes off the screen. As you can see, it's a genuine screen. It's populated with information. We click reading, or tap reading, sorry. And it's read the file of the screen. So let's take off the ribbon cable. Put this screen to the side. Get the brand new screen. And we will connect the touch to that. And we'll click or tap writing. Whether to write the data, yes or no. Obviously we're going to select yes. And it's writing the data to the new screen from the old screen. There we go. Data verified correct. All the data is now populated. Let's turn off the JCID programmer. We are using the V1 SE, which is compatible all the way up to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Possibly 15 if they release the boards for it. Probably already out. And we'll now put the top section onto this phone from the old. Just going to get rid of a bit of sticky on the proximity sensor. It might affect it. We don't really want that on there. Okay, that's all clean. Now we're going to fold out the earpiece section. And we're going to firstly put the top section in. Like so. And while we're holding that in, this little bracket that technicians don't usually fit, we're going to fit that in. Best to do it using your fingers and get it into the grooves like that, and then it holds the top section in nicely. Also, by fitting that, if the earpiece is shooting out loud sounds, you won't get the vibration at the top of the phone, which really pisses people off. Okay, so the first screw that I always put back is the top left one, which is also the first one I removed. For the simple reason is if you do these bottom ones first, the posi drives, the top left one doesn't tend to align up properly. So I always do that one first. Go back first and then go forward. Back until you hear a click, then go forward. Again, back, click, then forward. Alright, now we've got that on, we can remove this little protective layer off the back of the screen. Again, this is another thing that rookie technicians don't do. They don't remove the protective layer off the back of the screen. That has to be removed. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is prepare the chassis to take the new screen with the new adhesive that we've got here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the chassis with a flat-headed screwdriver, very lightly scraping up the silicone to prepare the surface for the new adhesive. Once you've got a bit of silicone on there, it's easy to scoop up the rest because it just tends to stick together. And also all the crap that's in there as well will get cleaned out with some isopropyl alcohol. This silicone stuff that Apple uses, after a few years it goes really liquidy and horrible. Alright, now that's all off. So now we're going to go around with some isopropyl alcohol. I've got a little bit in here, hopefully, yes. We need cotton buds as well. Just maybe a couple of cotton buds. There we go. And we're going to dab a bit into the isopropyl. And we're going to go around the edge, angling the phone so we don't really wet the electronics or anything like that. They look pretty clean anyway. To be fair, if it did wet the electronics, it wouldn't really damage it anyway. This is really safe for electronics, but just out of principle, let's keep it clean. So we'll go around with the one first, just to get all the loose crap out of it. Trying not to knock the FaceTime, the Face ID camera too much. Then we'll go with the other one again. More alcohol. If it squeaks, it's clean. So it's squeaky clean, yeah. There we go, squeaking there, squeaking here. Still dirty though. Make sure it's all nice and clean, ready for the customer, so they have like a brand new phone. Might as well do a proper job. Alright, so gone round the second time with the first one. So now literally we're going to use one more isopropyl using the second cotton bud just to get the last few bits. Shouldn't really get that dirty now, this one. And then we'll use the other side to just dry what we've done. All right. Okay. Bit of fluff on there, on that ground anchor. Looking good to me. All right. So now is the time for the adhesive. So let's put the cap on the isopropyl alcohol so we don't lose it all. And get rid of this cotton bud. Okay, so adhesive. Before we do the adhesive, actually, let's just double check that the everything's all nice and tightened up inside the phone. We might as well do it while we've got access to it, because we're not going to have access to it again. Sometimes these Taptic engines do come loose on their screws, just from vibrating too much. Tends to be teenage girls, these phones, that happens the most to, but anyway, this one looks pretty tight. Must be a boy's phone. Okay, so there we go. Everything is tightened up, so we'll get the adhesive off the protective layer. Then we will apply the adhesive. So we'll go the top left corner first. Just check there's no more fluff. There's no fluff. There we go. Top left corner first. Push it into the top. And then we'll let it rest onto the rest of the phone. There we go. Then what we'll do is we'll get the flat-headed screwdriver, our friendly cheapo flat-headed screwdriver, and lightly go over all the adhesive around the edges, like so. Just nice and lightly. We don't want to go too hard with it. There we go. Okay. Now we can take off the plastic cover for the adhesive. What I tend to do is I don't like to just pull it off. I like to roll it off, because if you roll it off, you're pushing it down at the same time and keeping it in place. If you pull it off, you might just pull it off the chassis. So let's roll it off like that, yeah? Roll it off. There we go. Nicely rolled off. Now it's time to apply the brand new screen. So first of all, we'll connect up the LCD connector, the largest one first. So we'll lightly sail it over the connector with our finger just to find where it goes, and then we'll rock it and press it into place. Again, the same thing with the other one. Find where it goes, rock it and press it into place, and it will do a little snap into place. That's how you know it's right. Same with the earpiece connector. Rock it and put it into place. Then we'll put the battery connector into place as well. Before we put any of all these other things back in, we're going to do a test. So let's see if it works. Needs battery power, so looks like we need to connect up the battery. Get the power supply, sorry. So let's do that. Not removing any of the protective layers off the LCD just yet, just in case the LCD has got an issue and I need to return it. Apparently I could scratch and win something with this screen. What could that be? Oh, I won first prize. How lucky am I with first prize? That's a gift worth €12. Contact through WhatsApp or email. I think I'll give that a miss. We do have a high power charger, so it shouldn't take too long to turn on. Needs to hurry up. Would be great if customers pre-charge their phones. You know what, I am impatient, so what I'm going to do is while that's charging, I'm going to be extra careful. Put these covers back on perfectly. So firstly I'm going to put the LCD cover back on. You can't really see it because I need to do it this way. I should be getting a new camera today, so I'll be able to do top down, and also the solder station behind me. Pulling the screws back in the exact order where they came from. Obvious, really. Then we need to add the battery connector cover, sorry. Make sure to get that slid in there very nicely, and line up the top hole nearest the screen first, because that's the first one that I'm going to put in. Also, the reason why we put the LCD cover on first is because when you do the last screw for the battery cover, you've got the LCD ribbon, the touch ribbon cable there, and if that battery cover wasn't on there, then you'd be popping off the touch connector, and you don't want to pop that off. Also, you want to be extra careful when you put this last screw in without damaging that cable. Okay, that has gone on there absolutely perfectly. And last thing as well, when reapplying a brand new screen, there's always these little hooks or loops or whatever you want to call them on the top of the screen. I always just lightly bend them outwards just to make sure the top of that screen is fixed into place nicely. When fitting a screen as well, make sure you hold the entire screen away from the chassis so it doesn't pull up any of the adhesive on the chassis that you've applied. Then angle it towards the top very carefully and twist it until it fits into place nice and snug. Then hold the end of the phone into place, the top of the phone, sorry. Turn it the other way, and what you want to do is you want to try and get these corners in first. You don't want to get the middle bits in first. The corners are the difficult ones, so if you can get those in first, then push the middles in, then you're all good. Then just a final run around a few times with the finger just to make sure that adhesive meets the LCD frame, so it's nice and sealed and there's not going to get any dust in there or anything. And then last of all, we need to make sure that we put these screws back in. So one in there, it's a little difficult with the LCD cable in, but yeah, we'll put them in. And there we go. Make sure you push in fairly hard to get those in so you don't wear the ends off. There we go. Oh, job's a good one. Okay, so that looks like it's still charging. That's another job done, so I'm going to tidy my desk up. I always tidy my desk up every single job. A tidy desk is a fresh mind and an easier repair. If you are repairing phones, I highly recommend you get yourself a JCID programmer. There are better ones than this, but this is really all you need. Okay. And get rid of the rubbish, the old screen. Also the box for the old parts and tools and things. To be fair, when you fix phones, you only really use the same set of tools. You don't want to keep using these packs of tools every time. Usually low quality crap tools, and I don't know how they expect regular people to even fit these screens. So let's get rid of that. Alright, so it seems that the screen is now working, and I am told that the passcode is 123456. Very difficult. And there we go, it is 123456. Okay, so we're just going to check the touch for the screen. We're going to go left and right. That's all working well. Yep. So now we know that the screen is working fine, and we're going to take off the protective cover. Oh yes. And we're going to go into the settings, and we're going to go and check if True Tone is working. So we're going to go to display and brightness, and there we go, guys. I don't know whether you can see that. Terrible camera, but there you go. True Tone is working. So that's another phone fully repaired, another happy customer. Great stuff. Thanks for watching Uncensored Repairs, guys. Until next time.